Hi, I'm Heather Poduska, and welcome to Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a more abundant life and business. I am so excited today. I have my very, very special friends, my homegirls, and we are going to have a great time today in this interview. In 2015, Vanessa Gobes and Denise Costello combined their expertise in mindfulness and health to co-found Chrysalis, a meditation and wellness center that serves the families of Winchester, where they offer guided meditations and dozens of mind-body workshops and retreats designed to strengthen physical balance and spiritual connections in ways that outsmart stress and disease. Co-founder Vanessa Gobes is a longtime meditation teacher and mother of four who is living proof that meditation is a viable way to beat stress, soothe anxiety, and heal depression. Denise Costello is a nurse, Air Force veteran, entrepreneur, food blogger, yogi, and also a dedicated mom who has a whole being approach to wellness and healing through nutritious food. Together, Vanessa and Denise are dedicated to releasing stress and promoting wellness through mindfulness. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. We're happy to be here too.
Well, and you look vibrant and healthy and whole and grounded. So what's your magic sauce? How does this happen?
We just meditated before we came
Oh,
over.
you did?
We did.
That's
We did.
awesome.
That definitely helps. Absolutely.
So I just gave the thumbnail of what Chrysalis is, but tell us a little bit more about what Chrysalis is, how long you've been here, why you started the meditation center. And it's a wellness center. It's not just meditation, right?
Right. Well, you want to start with you?
Sure. So I started as just a meditation teacher, informally working with kids in schools, and then started teaching some moms in the neighborhood. I had a crew of ladies who would come over once a week for about 2 years. And then finally, there was just a call to action via various events in town that were happening where people needed stress relief. And, you know, having my personal experience with this practice, beating depression, including seasonal depression, which most people, I think, suffer from, especially here in New England. This winter season is going to be really tough.
Sure.
I knew how valuable this practice was. So I saw the signs and took the opportunity to jump into business, and was very fortunate to have my dear neighbor here, Denise, who was looking for the same opportunity. So.
Yes, exactly. So I had had a business, The Energized Body, and I've always been drawn to families, you know, and how to help moms in particular, how to manage, you know, preparing a healthy meal. And so that's really where it was coming from with Energized Body. But as I could see, as my kids were growing, you know, in high school, and I just saw the environment really that was going on with our kids and what they were dealing with, I felt like I wanted to do something more, you know, and really felt a pull to really address the other side, you know, the emotional aspect. And, you know, when you hear this startling, awful statistic that 1 in 6 kids will think of a plan for suicide, and I was like, no more of this. We need to do something, you know, to bring some form of help that was simple that we could do, you know, in our community. And Vanessa had reached out, and we just looked at each other and was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were like,
And there was like,
yeah,
we were like, oh my gosh, there's something here.
Together, we've got to do this together.
Yeah.
Let's bring our forces together. You're like, yay, sisterhood. And that's how it started. And it was a lot of faith, and, you know, because we had never worked together. And
We really didn't know each other very
we
well.
didn't know each other that well either, but I think we just had this passion, you know, and this goal that we really wanted to help and to do something proactive.
It's divine chaos.
Yes, exactly.
well, you know,
Exactly.
we're all moms and we all live in this community, and from the outside it looks very idyllic. And, you know, and we're all dressed in our nice clothes right now, and it's all a pretty picture in the studio. But we live in a time where there is a lot of stress and pressure on our kids, even though it looks like on the outside that everything is, you know, copacetic. So what do you find that's different now than maybe like 15, 20 years ago with kids and what they have to deal with?
Well, there's quite a few things. I think the phone has made a big difference, you know, because even though you can have a very together family, you know, you go to church together, you eat around the table together, you have a fun Sunday afternoon, you know, events that you do together as a family, and you can have all of that, but you really don't know what's going on in your child's life that's coming into them, that they're hearing and that they're getting bombarded with all the time. And I think that's the difficult thing. And I've experienced that with my own children. You know, they had, you know, just some tough things happen. And so I think that's one piece of it.
Yeah, and I would definitely say the other piece is more than ever we are overscheduling.
Well, there's so much pressure, and I think when you live in a community where there are a lot of smart, ambitious people, there's that sense of you want your kids to keep up. I think part of that might be like when we were kids, I was outside playing in the dirt, in the mud, using my imagination. We didn't have phones, so we were really using that creativity muscle. And the phone is great, computers, television, they're all fun and great, but you know, a lot of it's spoon-fed to you. Your creativity is not challenged as much because you're being entertained so much of the time.
Yeah, and not just through the phone. I mean, it's also through the chronic scheduling that we as parents, we're all guilty of it. We've all done it to our kids. You know, I started one of my daughters in ballet when she was 2.9 years old. It's like somebody told me that she had great feet for dance, and I was like, oh, I've got to get her in ballet. And you know, I think that my poor first born daughter, I probably made a lot of mistakes with her, and she's probably suffering some anxiety because of it. But I think I learned with my subsequent children and definitely came way off the gas as far as scheduling goes. And I think that they're a lot happier for it, and they're a lot more relaxed for it. When they're moving from activity to activity to activity, there's no time for boredom. And when these kids get bored, sometimes they panic. I'm bored, I don't know what to do. And, you know, we've experienced this with our children, right? So we have to teach them it's okay to be bored, you know? And if you're panicking when you're bored, think about what else you're going to panic over. You know, when big things happen, you can't even handle being bored. So boredom is a real gift, and I think that we're not giving it enough credit. And honestly, a lot of, you know, we talk about reasons why people meditate or practice mindfulness. One of the top reasons that people will engage their meditation or mindfulness practice is because they're bored. So,
well, I don't think everybody knows what it means to be mindful. So can you really break it down? Some people know what meditation is, but what's the difference between meditation and mindfulness, and what are some of the different practices that people can use?
So I'll take this one. So meditation is a formal practice. I usually say it has a beginning and an end. So you might sit down to meditate, or you might practice Tai Chi or yoga to meditate. You could even do a jogging meditation, so long as you jog, you are really aware of every single footstep that you're taking. And when your mind wanders off, you bring it right back to your footsteps.
Is there a chocolating meditation? Because I'd be really mindful of that.
Yes, mindful eating, there certainly is.
I like that one. We need to add that to our course descriptions. So that I would say that is the major difference, is that mindfulness is an informal practice. So that I can be mindfully aware as I'm sitting here with you just by really tuning in with my senses and feeling my full presence in the space with you. Sometimes we'll call it being in the room and really being in the room. And sometimes we can call it like compassionate awareness, intentional compassionate awareness. Yeah.
And what are the benefits? So now I'm meditating, big deal. So what does it do for me?
Oh, well, there's many physical, you know, physically and mentally, there's a lot of benefits. So physically, you know, we talk about stress, right? That we're like, crazy. And in reaction to stress, our body puts out cortisol. And which is fine, you know, for a short period of time. But if we are constantly like worrying or rushing and doing this and that, like in our busy world, and we have this chronic cortisol going, it really can wreak havoc on our bodies. It can, it raises your blood sugar level, it It can raise your heart rate. It adds visceral fat, into your abdominal area. And I don't know about you, but I don't want that. I was like, come on. And it can really disrupt your sleep, as well. And that losing sleep and not being able to sleep well is really wreaks, again, havoc on your body. It can even make you eat and crave sugary carbohydrate stuff because when you have lack of sleep, you have this hormone called leptin, which tells your brain, you're full, it's time to stop. When you have lack of sleep or too much cortisol, it actually turns that off. So inflammation is another thing that'll turn that off. And we don't want that. So then you are just eating more things that you don't need. And it actually then will also turn on the ghrelin, is another hormone that just tells you to continue to eat, and it elevates that.
We don't want to be walking around all juiced up on cortisol all the time. It's not good for us, and we know it's not. And there was actually a study that came out, I think it was in 2014 by the University of California at Berkeley, that said chronic stress leads to late life mental illness.
Wow.
Yeah. So what we're doing is, through all of the stress, we're creating habits in the body, These experiences they're all connected. Mind, body, emotion, they're all connected. And when one thing happens and then the other two react the same way, and that happens over and over again, that you're positioning yourself to experience that very readily and easily and reactively.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is just wedge some awareness in between the stress and the reaction to the stress, and mindfulness can help us.
I think I found, so I'm a fairly new meditator, like a consistent meditator, for the past year. I looked at kind of my way of calm was through prayer or, my spiritual practice. And since we've been working together, I've really been practicing this on a daily basis. And what I've noticed, what helps me deal with those moments is there's just that ability to take a step back and to notice, and just taking that moment and noticing, and then like, okay, I need to take a breath and I need to kind of reset. And so I feel like that's my little wedge, in the middle of it all. And also just even being aware, just being more aware of maybe where other people are coming from. And so your reaction is different. Maybe you're choosing to react maybe in a different way because you've been able to kind of step back and to have a different understanding and maybe looking at it differently.
Yeah, and I was reading some things about meditation in the military because they have to make such important decisions so quickly, and having that little space so you're not reacting, that you can be responding instead. It's huge. And one of the things that I like about meditating is the breath. I mean, because I'm a singer, so I'm always thinking about breath. But when I get anxious, if I wake up in the middle of the night and my mind is racing, sometimes I can't shut my brain down. And even if I'm meditating, being quiet, it's like, no way, sister, that train is going through. But I can anchor my thoughts on the breath and just be present to the breath. And because I'm focused on that, I can't put my attention elsewhere, so that eventually calms me down. So sometimes it's not, for me, it's not just not thinking about something. I have to actually have something to hold on to. So what do you say to people who say, I can't do this, I'm like this, I'm frantic, I'm frenetic, I don't have the time, I can't meditate? What do you say to those people?
So there are a gazillion ways to meditate. There's not just one. And that's something that we really work hard at introducing to people. And we always really want to make this practice practical. A practice should be practical, and it's got to meet people where they are. So if the idea of sitting down in one place and navel gazing for 20 minutes makes you want to rip your hair out, then don't do it. That's the first thing I think that we would say. Also, when you were talking about, and so many people experience this, when you're falling asleep and your mind is racing and you want to shut it off, know that there really isn't a trick to shutting it off. You might not ever shut it off because the mind is moving all the time. That's what it does. It's a thinking machine. So rather than shut it off, maybe we can focus on turning it down. And we can do this a lot of different ways. Using a mantra is a great way. And that might be a longer conversation than we have today, but it's just using words as an anchor. And you're playing with the mantra's volume so that the mantra is louder than the thoughts in your head. So actually, when I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm noticing that the train is rumbling through, what I will do is notice my breath. And when you notice your breath and you listen to your breath, especially at night, you'll notice how very loud it is at night.
Well, I know some people's breath is very loud at night.
Exactly.
Won't name names.
Right? But it's a really great way. Yeah, you don't want to focus on your snoring spouse next to you, but maybe if you focus on your own breath and the rhythm of it. But the other thing that I would say is if there are thoughts that are chugging through and really want to be heard, there's a reason for it. So acknowledging the thoughts and labeling them and saying, hi, thoughts, I see you. I am thinking about X, Y, Z right now, almost as if you're the silent witness hovering above and observing, and say, I am going to pay attention to you, and I'll even write a journal entry about you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Oh, I
promise.
like that.
So you make a date with your thoughts, and then it gives them an opportunity, almost like they're little people. Say, oh, I'll think about you later on. I just
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Let's make a date tomorrow. So I think that's really effective because they're there for a reason. They
Right.
want to be heard. And that's okay. We're humans, and that's what we do. We think. So it's just a matter of how we interact with our thoughts.
I love that, and because I had a little bit of a stressful time a couple months ago, and I was waking up in the middle of the night with a pit in my stomach, and that situation resolved. It's different now, and I'm always feeling much calmer. But I still sometimes wake up with a pit. Not wake up in the middle of the night, but wake up in the morning with that same feeling, and I know it's just residue from that. It's in my body. So what I started doing, instead of trying to get rid of it, I just started really focusing my attention there, saying, okay, what are you trying to tell me? What do you need? And then it was okay, I'm not forgetting about you, but
That's so cool.
let's go on
It's your little residue baby.
Yeah.
Either that or it's all the cortisol that's staying around.
Whatever.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's important, though. This is something else that I personally have been practicing lately because I've had my own residue baby in my heart space. And when I've been feeling stressed at work because we have a big event coming up, and we're marketing and we're trying to fill seats.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to fill seats and you don't know what's on the other side of that, and you're scrambling and working so hard and you have no idea what the outcome is going to be, it is very stressful. And so I really feel like the lessons that I learn in the office, specifically this one about stress, are lessons that I'm supposed to share with people who may be experiencing the same thing. So I know it's there for a reason. And so my little residue baby is taking space up right here. And how I've been dealing with it is probably very similar to the way you've been dealing with yours in your belly, is that I notice it, it's in my heart, it's squeezing, I know it's there, and my response to it is, instead of panic and saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to die early of a heart attack because my heart is squeezing all the time, is that instead I'm just going to watch it and I'm going to breathe into it.
I was just going to say that.
So I bring white light,
Yeah.
I let it enter through my heart space, and it expands. On the in-breath, and on the out-breath, I breathe it out through my mouth.
Yep.
I let all the black, gooky stuff come out through my mouth that doesn't serve me. And then it transmutes into white light that always lives around me in my little white la-la land, unicorn-filled, rainbow-filled aura.
But it's also filling your body. You're oxygenating your cells, right? And you're opening up your rib cage, and even that is giving you that confidence stance. It's giving more of that stance, so that gives the messages to your brain that you're in you're in control. You have the power.
Yeah.
So.
And there's also another great study. It just came out last week on December 6th. It was produced by Northwestern Medicine, and they did a study that proved that there's increased brain activity on the in-breath through the nose specifically.
Oh.
So breathing in through your nose, it not only it can increase fearful thoughts, right? So it solidifies fearful thoughts. So if you have bad thoughts going through and bad juju that you're taking in on your in-breath, you want to get rid of that, right? So you want to bring in good juju on your in-breath, because they also enhance your emotional responses and your hippocampus, which is home also to not only emotional responses, but your memory. So improved memory and improved fear if you're using it in-breath.
Yeah.
We don't want to improve your fear.
No, but it makes,
Yeah.
but I totally know what you're saying. And for singing, when I was teaching, I'd always say to my kids, imagine you're walking into a room and you smell a plate of freshly baked cookies or brownies, and you go, and you lift on the inside, and you have like an interior smile, and it automatically lifts your cheekbones. You feel the
Yeah.
and you're in the,
Yeah.
you're ready to sing your song.
There you go.
But it's the same, because if you
Yeah.
breathe in, then your
Right.
palate drops. It's harder to get the
Right.
sound
Yeah.
up and over again. So that's if you think about the internal smile
Yeah.
when you breathe in.
It's really interesting.
That is
I was saying I
interesting.
work with a group of seniors every Tuesday morning. Best day of the week. I love the seniors, and was just sharing this study with them this morning and saying, save all your bad thoughts for your out breath.
There you go.
Just bring in everything good and make sure that every time we take an in breath, like 600 times in an hour.
Yeah.
We have 600 opportunities to think something amazing and to improve the structure of our brain. 600 times in an hour.
Right.
That's pretty powerful, right?
Yeah, and it's really important too, because I read that for every negative thought you have to counteract it with 3 positive ones, because your brain is designed to keep you safe, so it pays more attention to the negative thoughts. So you actually, even to just break even, you have to have 3 positive thoughts to
Right.
break even. So you have to 600 to, what is it, 200?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not a great score.
Right. That's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen,
Yeah.
you guys mentioned your event that's coming up. Tell us about that. I'm really excited. I'm going to be speaking. I'm
Yes,
really
you're
excited
speaking.
about it.
Yeah.
So
Excited that you're
tell us
there.
about what it is
Yeah.
and why you're doing this event.
So the name of the event is Solopreneur, and we came up with this meeting with Nancy Zare, who is owner and founder of Rapport Builders, and she helps individuals to understand people on how to best basically make a sale, And we were talking about there's so many things that we know, that could help other female entrepreneurs, and how hard it is having a business and starting a business yourself. But when you pull together a band of other fabulous female that can share things to help, it just makes it so much easier and a lot more fun. And also bringing in the importance of bringing in the physical movement, and how fun. We've all been in conferences before. You're sitting at the table and everybody's out there talking, and you're kind of jazzed up and you love what you're hearing, but it's tiring and you just kind of feel sluggish at the end of the day. And so we really wanted to put in this whole mind-body practice together by having yoga, and we're going to have sound healing meditation as well, which is we have these crystal bowls that they cling on the vibration that's going to be going on with the yoga, which is going to be fantastic. And meditation, of course, with the Vanessa. And then we have Tori Berkins. She is the founder and creator of Journey Dancing. And so we're going to end the day with some journey dancing.
So if people have never done journey
Yeah.
dance before, I'll tell
I've
a
never
very
done
brief
it.
with
She
my
could
story.
do it.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So I was at Kripalu this summer, and I was taking a week-long program called Psychology of the Chakras, and the whole thing was like very hippie, and they're like, just move your body and feel your energy. And the whole time I'm sitting here like this. Like, this is so not me. Like, I'm not this girl, and I'm not gonna move my body. And so halfway through, there's this British girl in my class, and she was like, let's go, we're gonna do this this shamanic dancing. It's called Journey Dance. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. But everything sounds really exciting when you offer it with a British accent. Yeah. So she asked me one more time, and I was like, okay. So we went in and we started, I walk in, everybody's lying on the floor. There's like 150 people, all ages, all colors, everything on the floor. We're lying on the floor, and I'm lying on the floor with her, and then Tony Berkins is the founder of Journey Dance, and it's this big movement, right? It's a national movement. And so she's telling us to slowly get up off the floor, and we're just swaying a little bit, and then we start meowing and barking and like scooping peanut butter with our ribs like this. I can't even tell you, it was so funny. And this is the thing about Tony, which I wasn't getting through the psychology of the chakras program as far as movement goes. She entered my heart space through humor. And there's no, I couldn't take it too seriously. And Tony didn't.
Yeah.
She was funny. Yeah. And then, then she starts playing Justin Timberlake. And who doesn't want to shake your body to talk Justin Timberlake? And then the next thing I know, I'm like throwing my hands in the air. I'm saying, praise Jesus. I'm like not even Christian. I'm like throwing invisible stuff into a invisible fire in the middle of this room with these people. It was so much fun, and it was sweaty, and it was crazy, and it was totally unexpected. And so, we have this picture on our website of this it's like a crowd of people in a mosh pit, and there's this one lady. She looks like she could be our age, and she's getting thrown into the air. And she's like dirty and muddy, but she's got a big smile on her face, and she's getting thrown into the air. And I feel like for me. And I think we want people to leave at the end of Solopreneur feeling like a little dirtier, a little grittier, a little sweatier, a little more experienced, a little braver, and ready to do something fun, exciting. Like just let loose and know, most importantly, that you're 100% supported by the hands outstretched below you.
Exactly.
So if somebody wants to get sweaty and dirty and gritty and
then they scoop the peanut butter with the Jersey dance.
Where do they find out more about Solopreneur? And it's SOUL, right?
Not SOUL.
Yes.
Solopreneur.net. And by the way, so if you don't want to get sweaty with Tony, you don't have to.
Yeah.
We have a non-sweaty workshop that's going on at the same time with another amazing woman, Diane Bischoff.
So I'm just trying to imagine what the wardrobe. What are you going to wear? This is what I want to know.
That was so fun. You can wear like colorful athleisure wear, so no heels. Leave those at home.
Okay.
So it'll be very comfortable, and you're just going to be like with just a great tribe of women.
That's awesome.
And our headline.
You mentioned our headline.
Yeah.
Tell her about that.
So Kate Northrup, we're super excited to have her headlining the event. She's such a talented person. She wrote Money, a Love Story. She's a Hay House author, New York Times bestselling author, and she travels around the country speaking. Her mom is Dr. Christiane Northrup.
Wow.
Who doesn't love her? Anybody who's given birth or has a vagina has got to love Dr. Christiane Northrup. She's done so much for women. But to have her daughter here with us and bringing that energy and enthusiasm is going to be really exciting. And we're just, we're very lucky. We feel very lucky, and to have you there.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. So I'm excited.
Can't wait.
And talk about, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are in the heart space sometimes are not as comfortable about the money piece. So to have Kate there, and I'm going to be talking about how to create a brand that makes you happy and honors your values, but also makes you money at the same time. So
it's perfect.
Yeah. And that's a message that, we really want to get out to the solopreneurs, the entrepreneurs, the fempreneurs, the mompreneurs, whatever title you adhere to yourself, is that it's important to take care of your mind and your body. Like you've got to put yourself first. And then once this is taken care of, then go ahead and ask for it. Like don't be afraid of, like you say, like own your brand, make the sale. Don't just leave the fear behind. It doesn't serve. Breathe out the fear in the black gookie smoke and breathe in. I am a powerful manifester.
Yeah. Well, and my big thing is you don't serve anybody if they aren't working with you, right? You can't give the transformation or not as much a transformation if someone doesn't come into your circle in that way. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, definitely.
But so solopreneur.net, they can find out about that. And just as like we are coming to an end, I want to see if there's something you can give the audience right now that they can take away from our chat, that they can turn off the interview and go, what is one thing that they can take with them right now to open up that heart space, to be more mindful, that they can use in their day for the rest of the day?
Well, I would just think one thing that I do every morning is before the moment I open up my eyes, right? I just take a deep breath in, and I think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. So it's you're not even letting yourself have a stressful day yet. You're putting in this positive thing about what you're grateful for, and just thinking about what I want to do for the day. Maybe not even so much of that, you know, very specifically, but just asking and just being aware that I'm going to be open, you know. And then, you know, that way you're in control. You've taken a deep breath, you know, you're starting in a peaceful place. I don't know, that's what I do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think just for like an easy tidbit to carry forth, the Dalai Lama says, world peace begins with inner peace. And if you can keep one thing in mind when this world is so crazy right now, it's so crazy, right?
Right.
Zombie apocalypse, it's coming. But you know, when the skies rain acid and you know the mountains crumble into the sea, this is what we can say. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Peace begins with me.
I love that.
You just do that. You do it with little fingers and connect them like this. Peace begins with me.
I love it. And then
I
this
love
is
that.
the
And then you end up in your little ohm. It's an O and an M. Have you ever noticed that?
oh, for
I don't know
mom.
if that's a thing, but I was noticing it's O and an M. Ohm.
So cute, but it's mom.
Oh, and mom.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
What up, mom?
Yeah.
So peace begins with me.
I love that.
Absolutely. Well, I am so grateful that you guys came on. You really, I did a blog post, or no, it's a Facebook post a couple of months ago about being a love jihadist. And you guys are definitely love jihadists on the forefront. And I think that entrepreneurs, and especially heart-centered entrepreneurs, are the front line of bringing more peace into our world. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here today. Until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.